Scary Alvarez is back, host Michigan, for a quick hitter. And there's a lot to talk about, but I think y'all watched the game. You had the same emotions I did in all likelihood. It was really nice to see some fight from those players. And, you know, I'll give credit where credit's due, and I have some coaching criticisms, but that team was prepared. And we may have a new starting quarterback. Second half wasn't great. But more to the point of what I want to talk about today is not the X's and O's and ins and outs, ups and downs of the game. By the way, please like and subscribe if you have not done so. Really, really appreciate it. The PJ Fleck Archaeology Hour edged ahead of us last week, and that is probably good for him in the sense that he's going to be digging out from being buried 10,000 feet by Ohio State later tonight. But getting back to my point, last week, or pardon me, 2 weeks ago, after Wisconsin dropped an inexcusable game at home to Maryland, and you all know this if you listen to me and read the stuff I write, I was incensed, beaten down, hopeless. Right now, as I record this, about an hour after the Wisconsin loss to Michigan 24-10 in the Big House, I mostly feel nothing. And that's problematic. I don't know what it is. I think, if you've been watching my stuff, I crossed the Fickell Rubicon a long time ago, a couple weeks ago at Maryland. That was pretty much, I said I'd seen enough. But I just said this on social media that Luke Fickell was coaching today like someone who either knows he's getting fired or 100% knows that he's not. Nothing in the middle. And I want to back up. I mean, the game plan wasn't bad. This wasn't a disaster class. I'm talking more about the fourth quarter. Some of the stuff we saw, some of the conservative calls, the field goal, 4 minutes left to cut it to 14. It looked like he had like skin in the game on a bet or something. Yeah, Wisconsin covered, great. And I don't think he actually did. But it was just it was not the coaching of someone with fire who wants his team to win at all cost. I didn't know how to interpret it. I mean, and me noticing this might seem like it makes me mad. It does a little bit as a Wisconsin fan, but again, I feel kind of numb. I just feel kind of like, yeah, that happened. And in a game where there are tangible things that Wisconsin did that you can take positives in, even that isn't helping me. Even going into a place where I said I do my Bucky's fifth quarter, best case, worst case, most likely, and my worst case was an absolute obliteration. I think a 40-point loss. But my best case was this game, and maybe that's part of the problem. Okay, my best case was a 27-13 game that Wisconsin hangs with until Michigan just scores a little too much in the second half and leaves with a 14-point win. Pretty much what happened. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, it's not like, oh, you're so amazing at predicting things, Scary. I mean, but it's very telling that my best case scenario now, and I'm a very optimistic fan, we've been over this, is what we saw today in a 2-touchdown loss. It's where we are. It felt like impressive in some ways to fight like that, but inevitable in the sense that this offensive line and some other areas, the offensive line especially, is just not good enough to win games like this. They cannot win them. With this coaching staff, at least. And that's a numb, raw place to be with a lot of really tough games left. I kind of had this down as probably the third or fourth hardest game left on the schedule, if that gives you any. There's facing Ohio State and Oregon, and then at Oregon, number 1 and number 2 in the country on consecutive weeks still to come this month. But hopefully we can bring this against Iowa. My concern is that we have a decent game plan, and this team fights so hard because they did fight hard today. I was really impressed with the fight of this team, especially the defense. They battled. They battled. Will that be enough against Iowa in a close game? Does Fickell have the chops to beat Iowa in a close game at Camp Bradle next week? I don't know, kids. I don't know. I just the fire and the intensity that should have been there, even in a game that you probably were going to lose there in the second half. And I just saw things that look like surrender cards. I don't. I mean, Sharon Moore trying to get points at the very end of the game was cringy AF. Embarrassing, terrible, cringy, in a different way than what Fick did. But anyway, I don't have to go on too much longer on this one. This is going to be a short one, but it should be an interesting week of practice. And I think Wisconsin will give Iowa a good game next week. I'm going to be there. Scary Alvarez, probably going to hook up with the Lockdown Badger guys at some point. I know they always host something. And I'd love to meet anyone out there who likes me and probably don't love to meet anyone out there who hates me, but I'm happy to shake your hand as long as you don't slap me or something. But because I really respect Wisconsin fans, you know that. But appreciate you tuning in to listen after a tough loss that is making a lot of us feel indifferent. But my final takeaway is I appreciate the fact that Wisconsin, the players, battle hard, especially that defense. I really was impressed with that. But that is about it. Leave me comments. Love to hear where you all are on this. I mean, are we at a place where I'm an outlier here, and my feelings of sort of passivity and meh am I alone on that? Is that something that other Wisconsin fans are feeling in large numbers? I don't know. It's hard to get a sense on social media after a game because a lot of it's just kind of bedraggled angriness about what we didn't do right, going after the coach, this and that and the other thing, and it's kind of all over the place. But I feel like I know this fan base pretty well, and I would be very surprised if apathy is, or a meh, kind of an indifference right now, and not feeling too hot or too cold about what just happened isn't common. I think it probably is. It is pretty common. And boy, feeling apathetic is probably worse than feeling angry. And I know everyone's going to rally for that Iowa game. I'm going to be there going hard, balling out from the stands, which is probably good for another 3-4 points for the team with just me there. But I don't know, guys. I mean, if Wisconsin can pull out that win, that can change the entire dynamic of the season in many ways. But I just feel so shruggy about the Badgers right now. I don't know what to feel really after that. Happy in some ways, but just a little bit disturbingly indifferent. And that kind of begins and ends with Fickell and some of the things I saw. I don't want to belabor coming after Fick. I've defended him, but man, getting back to what I said earlier, guys coaching like a guy who either knows he's leaving or knows he isn't, and nothing in between. Scary Alvarez is out.